Okay, so it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks of very, a lot of emotional roller coaster, a lot of ups and downs. Um, but it's been a decent 2 weeks. Something that's been going on the past few days is basically how God's been speaking to me just about different things in my life. Um, the past 5 days, Isaiah 6 has been like just going through and talking about how, he is a wonderful counselor, eternal father, Prince of Peace. Just that's been going through a lot lately. And he's been all those things to me this year. A lot. I would not have been able to survive divorce or hereafter without him at all. It's been not what I expected, and then exactly what I expected all at the same time. Not what I expected, as in the fact that I'm still here, because I really didn't think I would survive it. But in surviving it, it's pretty much how I felt it would go. It's been chaotic. It's been a lot of nonsense. A lot of things that don't make sense. But that's, in all honesty, what I expected. I wasn't expecting a lot of things to make sense, nor anybody know what they're talking about. And that was proven to me too. That no one knows what they're talking about and nothing makes sense. But that's okay. That's just another reason why he was such a wonderful counselor to me. Really taught me how to deal with certain things in my life. Me really becoming more obedient to God and listening to the Holy Spirit and letting Christ comfort me. It's been a great experience in that regard, that I learned that he can do all of those things throughout the day with me all the time. He never fails. He never fails. And I've had people, just talk to me about, like, the fact that I have a heart of David or the wisdom of Solomon, and like I've had a lot of people say that, and I've gone to God about those things in particular, and I'm probably gonna say something that most people wouldn't think of, like where they're thankful that people recognize those things. I went on the other side of it, was like, God, please don't let me struggle with the sins that they had. They struggled with, lustful thoughts and adulterous things, and I don't want to suffer those sins. I'm glad I have what seems to be those attributes, but I don't want to suffer those sins. I just don't want to sin. I want everything that I do to honor God. I just want to honor Him with my life in every way possible. He deserves that. He deserves way more than I could ever do. So I try to make sure that I listen out when I talk to people. I listen for the Holy Spirit to guide me in what to say. I try to make sure that when I'm talking, that I sound like God. And what does that mean, right? So, like, God is love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love counts no wrongs. Like it's. I try to make sure that I sound that way. It's one of the reasons why I only listen to Christian music too. It's not more of I don't like the worldly thoughts, so I don't listen to worldly music. I just don't listen to worldly music because I don't want to express worldly thoughts. I listen to godly music, and I pretty much just read the Bible, and that's my life at the moment. I mean, there are other things that I do watch from time to time, but I'm very selective on what I let into my mind. You constantly have to be on guard because the enemy is looking for a way to get to you. The enemy's looking for a way. They're looking for a weak spot. They're looking for a point. And you're human. You will slip up. And when you slip up, that's when he goes in. But you have authority over the enemy. You have authority over the enemy. God tells you that. So you have authority over the enemy because of God, because God living in you. So if God has authority over the enemy and God lives in you, you have authority over the enemy as well. Just remember that. And it's been something that's been very similar to me this year that I've realized multiple times that, the same thing that was happening in my 20s is happening to me now with the enemy and how he attacks me. But it's the same thing. I'm 20 years wiser. But things still happen where it still affects me. Not nearly as much as it did, but it's. He studies us, He studies us. He's been around humans since the beginning of humanity, but he's not stronger than God. He's not omnipotent. He's not omnipresent. He's not. So we would have to give him that power. We have to surrender that to him. If you don't, he's not. We make things complicated, and they're really not that complicated. Our goal on earth is to make sure that people know that Jesus Christ is Lord. As believers, that's your goal. And then to make sure that you just obey his word and his teachings. That's it. We're supposed to love people, be kind to people, show them the goodness of God. I try to do that every day, and sometimes I feel like it's at fault because sometimes I feel like I get really beat up by it. But God keeps on giving me the strength to go for it every day. Whatever he's doing with me, he's not done with me yet. He keeps on pushing me forward. So I have to keep on going, keep on doing what he wants me to do. Keep on pushing, showing perseverance. Perseverance brings forth fruit. It's a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and that bad tree cannot bear good fruit. I really pray over what I say to people all the time. Lord, please let me not pervert anything that I am saying to someone. Please let me only show the goodness of God in what I speak. and how I say things to people. I don't want to be self-righteous. It's not. It has nothing to do with me. Like, God's built me in such a way, and I do realize that. Like, I'm so different, and it's another thing the enemy attacks me with all the time about how different I am. But in that same instance, it's just how God built me. It goes all the way back to my Creator. So I have none of these abilities without Him. He gave me the abilities that I have. So if I seem spectacular in some ability, it's not my own. It's something that was given to me by God for a reason. It's not my own. I just want to be able to, like I said, I just want to be able to honor God with everything that I do. I just want people to know that I am a Christian and that God is my Father and that He is amazing. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But he's always been there. He just had to reach out, and I've grown with God through the majority of my life. I don't have any miraculous story like everybody else, like all these other people. Like there wasn't years. Like I've been with God since I was a kid, and we've just been faithful. I've just been faithful with Him. I have been times where I got distracted and wasn't paying attention to what God was saying to me, but I've always been a believer. Always. Well, since I can remember, anyway. I notice His hand in how the things that are going on in my life are really a product of Him, and even though there's chaos, God's in the control of all that chaos. I really notice it, and I really wish I could just tell people that, like, I know you feel like He's not there. I know the world tells you that He's an absent God, but He is not. There are so many things that are happening in the world that literally would not happen if God was not present. And the Bible is literally walking out things that are happening right now, and people are just like, whatever. And I thank God every day that my eyes are like not so blind to seeing that I just don't walk around aimlessly not knowing things. I mean, we have such a way to learn things now, and people just don't do it. They just are distracted with living their life, of finding the goal of living their own life, and the world tells you to live your own life. The world tells you basically to be selfish, where God tells you to be selfless. And so many people are distracted with it. Like, I mean, there's plenty of other things to be distracted with in this world, but the main focus is selfishness. And, you're not supposed to speak your own truth. That's not what you're supposed to do. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually here right now doing this. This is actually helping me with, putting on the whole armor of God. This is the belt of truth. This is me speaking God's truth over my life. This is me harnessing the belt of truth. I just want to keep doing that. I want to stay in His presence. And we're always in His presence, but I would love to always feel His presence. I realize that I can't because I am human. And it honestly saddens me when I can't feel God's presence. But that doesn't mean that I can't feel God. It doesn't mean that I'm necessarily sinning or anything like that. It's just sometimes, we're humans. And there's so many distractions that we just always can't hone in on God. But He's always there. He's always there. I love God so much. He's really helped me this year hone in the fact that He is my first love and that I really need to focus on Him. And even though I may want a romantic relationship someday, and it bothers me from time to time with what's going on, I do really realize that God is my first love, and that's been the main goal of this whole year. And I feel like that's really been accomplished this year, that I've done that. So even though it's not the year that we wanted, it's the year we needed. It's the year we needed. I don't know if this is going to be my last video of the year. It probably is. Just because of how busy the next week's going to be. But we'll see. I just want you to know that I see your progress. I know that it's been a year that you, once again, did not want, but it's exactly what you needed. And God's in control of all of it.